So, for the lesson is started and take place successfully, please switch your cell phone to silent mode and don't use to surf Facebook, Yellow, etc. and don't leave for have a lesson. So, class will be double check the first time you sign in the list over there, and the second time you will insert survey form, which is the base to split training score. Chào mừng. Để cho lớp học bắt đầu thì các bạn vui lòng chuyển điện thoại qua chế độ im lặng, vui lòng không lướt Facebook và Zalo, và đồng thời không rời bỏ lớp học vào nửa buổi. Lớp học sẽ có 2 lần điểm danh. Lần thứ nhất là các bạn có thể thấy danh sách ngoài kia. Lần thứ hai là một cái phiếu khảo sát để tiến hành cộng điểm cho các bạn. So, welcome all of you to the soft skill training session today. Today to have opportunities for students can meet, exchange, learn valuable experience from company experts. Therefore, our university coordinate with our semiconductor Vietnam company to organize them how to be successful in career planning. So our semiconductor is driving energy efficient innovations, empowering customers to reduce global energy use. The company is a leading supplier for semiconductor-based solutions, offering us conveniences, policies for energy efficient connectivity, sending power management, analog, logic, timing, disciplines, and customer device. The company's products help engineers so they engineers design challenges in automotive, communications, computing, consumer, industrial, medical, and military applications. Our semiconductor operators are responsive, reliable, world-class supply chains, quality programs, and a network of manufacturing facilities, sales office, and design centers in key markets around North America, Europe, and the Asia Pacific region. So now, come to sharing session today about the company. May I invite as a stage Ms. Leona, HR Manager of our semiconductor, to divide your opening remarks. Thank you.
Nice to meet all of you. My name is Leola. I'm not Vietnamese, sorry about that, and I cannot speak in Vietnamese with you, but I come from Hong Kong. So I can speak in English with all of you, okay? So I feel so happy having a chance. It's my honor to visit this university because a little bit of my background is I am being assigned as a senior HR manager looking after the 2 plants here in Vietnam, just start from April this year. Before this year, actually I'm the senior HR manager looking after China. Because China, we have 2 plants there as well. So I've been working in China for quite a long time in manufacturing field. So for me to come here to work is relocate myself to here, and it's a good chance for me to learn about the Vietnam culture, to understand about the Vietnamese, and how you celebrate your festivals, and how the youngster here actually in the university, your school life, and everything here. It's really very wonderful for me to have a chance to being stationed in Vietnam for at least 2 years. So you may meet me next year again when I come here to deliver other soft skills training for all of you, okay? So before we start for the course, actually I'm not talking about a course. I'm talking about something that are interpersonal that you encounter in your future. And I would like to have a very interactive class. That is, I would like everyone will be deep dive into the discussion instead of just sitting here to listen what I tell, okay? So, because for this purpose, I would like to rearrange your sitting arrangement. Because for this group, too many people. Some chairs, nobody sits. So may I invite you, some of you, to move into this group 1, okay? Please come here. Yeah. I think at least each table should have 4. Okay. Make it evenly distributed. So that table, no one sits. You move someone from there because it have to be evenly distributed. Yeah. Don't worry, it won't put you in a disadvantaged position. Okay, so let me tell you why I want to divide you into each group evenly distributed. Because I'm going to show you a video later when we finish our discussion here about Steve Jobs. Who know about who Steve Jobs is? Would you please raise your hand? You tell me. Speak now.
Steve Jobs is the CEO of Apple.
Yes. Okay. So, how many of you got an Apple phone with you? Apple. Your iPhone is Apple. Please raise up your hand. Nobody. Only 2. Only 3 at least. Okay. So, actually for OnSemi, we are producing our products for Apple. Apple is our customer, okay? So why I want to show the video to you is Steve Jobs gave a speech at Harvard University. Okay, everyone know about Harvard University. Who haven't heard of Harvard University in the world? Harvard University is the top university in US, okay? So he himself, unfortunately speaking, he's not a university graduate like you, huh? You are now already in a university graduate. But he himself actually quit from the university. So you will ask me why, right? He is not a university graduate. Then why he has so great achievement? Everyone in the world know him. Why? How he planned his career to be a CEO, the founder of the company by himself. Why? You think that he planned for himself? You think so? Okay, after seeing the video, you will understand. So, because I have a video to share with you, I hope you will have active discussion among your group. I will set up the questions there. So, the group that get most actively participate and give me a very good discussion, I will give you an award, okay? An award of having a private section with me. You will be invited to visit OnSemi in maybe 3 or 4 months later, so that I can be your personal counselor for your career path, okay? So this is my award for you, okay? So the group who get the most answer right, not right or wrong, but most actively to present your ideas and your discussion result, And you will have this award to have a personal section under my coaching by myself, okay? And you will be invited to visit on and to understand, have a window shopping of our factory production facilities for your future career planning as well, okay? Just give you some insight, okay? So, be attentive. Don't dream, okay? My experience is that whenever I do any course, even at honor, you will be focused only for the first 20 minutes. After that, dreaming. So, don't go to dream, because you have to learn something about how you can have a better career in your future, okay? Okay, thank you. So, before we start, can you make sure that don't disturb other people during the active discussion? Can you keep your mobile phone off first? Please check, because I already keep my mobile phone off, okay? So please check once again, okay? Are you sure that you already keep your mobile phone off, so that you will not disturbing others when they want to hear or want to discuss, okay? It's a sign of respect, okay? Okay, so we start now. So, can you tell me what faculty you come from? Yes?
I come from Faculty of Electric and Electrical Engineering.
Good, double E, right? Good. So apart from double E, any other faculty is different? All from double E? No. Can you tell me other faculty? Where you come from?
Thank you. I'm from Vietnam, Thủ Đức district.
Yes, I mean the faculty.
Yes.
The major you are now in.
My major is just English.
English.
Yes.
Why you choose English, right? So what you want to be in future? A teacher?
Actually, I want to be a teacher, but that's not enough for my dream. I want to be a lot of things. Yes. So I have lots of desire in the future, but that's the reason why I take part in lots of seminars to get more knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I see. So English faculty. Any other faculty? Science.
High quality.
High quality. That means you are specialized in quality in future. QA, right? Quality system that you are interested in.
No, I'm studying automation at high quality.
So can you write there? It's an interesting faculty. Can you write there to show me? Yes. So any more faculty that is different from this stream? Yes. Which faculty you come from?
My major is mechanical engineering.
Wow. Same as my husband. My husband is a certified mechanical engineer. Good. So any other faculty? Oh, very good sharing. Where you come from? Which faculty?
My major is printing.
Printing?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a faculty for printing in this school. Printing, that means when we want to print something from the computer, how to make the graphic beautiful, that's printing. Very interesting. What about you?
Yeah. My faculty is vehicle and energy engineering.
Energy engineering.
Yes.
So vehicle means what?
Actually, my major is automobile engineering.
Oh, automobile engineering. Hey, On's major product is automotive. So you may be the target people that we want to recruit in future. So anyone has other faculty that can share with me? Oh, automotive engineering. Okay. So, yes. What is your faculty?
My major is automation.
Automation.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Automation. So any other stream? Ah, you are different. Okay. So, can you speak louder because we cannot be shy.
Yeah. My major is applied science. Oh no, my faculty. My major is material technology.
What technology?
Material.
Technology.
Yeah.
This is the one that we're looking for. Because we have two laboratory in on, One is reliability laboratory. The other is failure analysis laboratory. So for the reliability laboratory, we are looking for material engineer. Wow, great. Any other stream that I haven't learned from you? Any other major? This is different. This table is very silent. Where you come from? Which faculty? Which is your major?
Mechanical engineering.
Good, mechanical engineering. Any electronics engineering? No, all are mechanical engineering.
No.
Oh, then why don't you tell me? Where do you come from? Which major?
My major is automotive engineering.
Automotive also.
Yes, also.
What about you?
Automotive engineering.
Also. Yes. So you two are classmates, right?
Yes.
What about you?
Same here.
3. Okay. Then what about you?
I come from economic faculty.
Hey, why don't you tell me earlier? Economics. Then you will be an economist in the world later, okay?
Yeah, my major is industrial management.
Oh, good. Industrial management. Yeah, very, very prosperous industry as well. So I can see that every one of you already choose a very good faculty to start with your career, okay? But we have to understand that the one that you choose may not be ultimately you want to do the job when you start, okay? So I can share with you some of our experience as HR manager when we meet of some youngster or graduates. Actually, they take a job that may not be totally relevant to what they learn, okay? But they will have a very good development as well. It depends on yourself as well, okay? Okay, let's start. So can we turn off the light, Martin? Otherwise, they cannot see. Yeah? Okay, can anyone see the screen? Because already both end, okay? Okay. Why the screen cannot move? Have to use the... No, not start the video first. I mean, when I want to do from the first, why cannot move? Yeah. No. Just now it doesn't move. You have to. Yes. Now see. Now it's better. Okay. Let me introduce myself first. Something about me, because I asked you where you come from, which faculty you are studying. Okay. So for myself, my education background, I graduated from UK, okay? My first degree is business administration, and I graduated from the University of Hertfordshire. So this is my first degree, I got it. And the second degree is my master's degree. I got it from the University of Portsmouth in the MBA. So that's my education background. For myself, I also like you, after graduation, how I plan for my career path, actually I cannot plan, because after my graduation, first of all, when I come back to Hong Kong, I think of myself, how I can get a job. Because my faculty is business administration, right? So, the first job that I got is HR. So that's why I start my HR management up to now, okay? So, I graduated in 1994 in fact, and then when I come back, actually, I start to do the human resources management job. And then I'm being the group HR manager for quite a lot of public listed company in Hong Kong before joining On, okay? So at the time, I joined On because there's an acquisition of Sanyon Semiconductor. So, do you know about Japan Sanyon? I can see a lot of Sanyon brand products here before. Electrical appliances and also projector. Have you heard about Sanyon? Yes, okay. We acquired Sanyon, On acquired Sanyon in 2012. Okay? So at the time, they need an HR manager to do the integration between the HR of On and the HR of Sanyon. Because two companies have two different systems. And we usually, when we acquire a company, we need to do the integration. Okay? So that's why I'm being employed by On, and I start my career with On. And then I can tell you that after joining On, I find a great difference between those listed company in Hong Kong is because we are a multinational company. So when you talk about a multinational company, that means there are a lot of branches or companies in the part of the world, right? So you will have a lot of opportunities to travel to other companies to learn their best practice and also to learn how other factories are doing, to benchmark your factories as well. So having joined a multinational company definitely will be a very good starting for all of you, okay? Because I just compare with myself, my actual experience. Because as I explained to you, I graduate and then from UK, I come back to Hong Kong to start my first job. And then I'm being recruited by just a local company and then take up the HR job. And then start my career there. And then gradually move up my position to the AVP, the Vice President of the listed company. So, but throughout this moving, I just want to let you know is, you have to think of, when you move forward, what makes you happy about that? Is it just money? Just money? Yes, no. It's the fact that, can you release your potential? Right? Can the company listen to your advice? What are the values of the company? Did they match with your values? So I think the youngster now in Vietnam is like the youngster in Hong Kong. When I ask my son what he is looking for, he say, I will go out to protest if I think something wrong. He is very outspoken, okay, and always think about how other people or other government departments can listen to his opinion. So in Hong Kong, we value, our core value is freedom of speech, right? Freedom of association. This is what our Hong Kong people core value. In Vietnam, you also have your core value, right? So did your core value match with the organization that you are going to work with? There's something about yourself that you highly value, right? So when you choose a job, it's not because of money. It's because of how you are going to release your potential and what career path that you can work along with the company, right? This is the most important point, not just because of money, okay? So in my career history, so I moved from a listed company to a multinational company, and of course, the benefits, the salary, will have a great jump. That's true, also true. But I think the most important thing I benefit from is my exposure. Because as I explained to you, if you join On, you have a lot of opportunities to travel abroad to learn. For the engineers, I can tell you, if you do well, you will be having a chance to send to Malaysia, send to Philippines, to the factories, to learn something about our SME program, Subject Matter Expert Program. This is the program that we develop our engineers in order to make them to be a good trainer to the line technicians. So it is a very typical example to tell you that if you join, when you think of your first job, you really have to think of, is the organization meeting with your value? Is the organization giving you a lot of opportunities, right, to learn and to develop and to increase your exposure out of Vietnam? Not just within Vietnam, it's out of Vietnam. Because nowadays, every one of us have to understand that we cannot live alone because we are talking about globalization. Every day you can hear a word, globalization. That means the world is getting smaller and smaller, right? You will discover that in the past, if you want to buy something new in the market, you will say you have to wait in Vietnam at least a few years, right? But now you think that, oh, it's easy. I use my Facebook, I check what other countries, they have new model, right? No matter is electronics products or anything, you can just get it. Get the latest information quite quickly. And you can also get to buy the product very quickly. So we're talking about globalization is actually you're getting close to the world. Not only Vietnam yourself. No, don't think about that, okay? Vietnam cannot isolate himself as a country because he also have to look for globalization. Okay? So if you can look forward like that, you have to think global, right? And not just think about yourself in Vietnam for your career. Okay? So any of you think of that, you are willing to travel abroad like me, to work in another foreign country in future? Have you think of that? Yes. Oh, that means you all want to have this chance, right? Okay, that's the correct thinking, okay? So, I give you some statistics to let you understand why it is important to have a career planning, okay? I got this from your Center for Education, Evaluation and Accreditation. So, very interesting to see the figures is, you got 58% university graduates don't know where to apply for jobs. And 42% cannot meet with the requirements set by the employers. 27% cannot find job because their major are not in demand in the labor market. And 18% university graduates are trained in major which employers are unfamiliar. So, this is the important thing that you have to understand why you have to plan for your career, okay? So, today's content, I will divide it into 3 major parts, okay? The first one is the truth about the career plan. The second is, when will be the right time for your career plan? And the final part is, other tips for the career plan. So, let's start to explore what is true about career planning. So, when we talk about the career planning, actually it's a continuous process. Continuous process. It's not a single process. And you just will not stop. It will ongoing throughout your career life. And the second is, you can't control the trajectory of your career. When we talk about trajectory, did anyone study physics here? Can you raise up your hand? Anybody study physics? Physics? No? Not even one study physics here? In your secondary school? No? Yes? Can you help me? Who study physics? Can you raise up your hand? Okay. So, what's your name?
My name is Hoàng Hưng.
Hoàng Hưng, can you tell me, what do we mean by trajectory in the terms of physics? This word. Yeah, what we talk about this one in the terms of physics. I'm not trying to test you, but this is related to the physics. Yes. Yes. So when you try to throw out something, even you try to throw out every time, actually the trajectory is different. Agree?
Yes.
Yes. That's why we say that you can't control. Career planning is something very strange. Just like you throw a stone apart, every time you try it, the trajectory is different. Not even one will be exactly, right? So that is the meaning of trajectory. And many factors, because why we say that you can't control. That's the reason. Because economic always change. Political elections, technological changes, and also one of the more important thing is you lose your interest to something. Say for example, if you want to be an engineer, you aim at to be an engineer, and so you try to look for a field that you can have an engineering job. But one day, when a friend tells you that, oh no, now the market actually is changing. There's a lot of job for financial planning. You can see that in Vietnam, I can see the bank is quite active now to selling you. How about your financial planning in future? And do you try to want to save some money and invest in the funds, something like that? So if one day your friend tell you that, no, you can try to consider another job that will give you very high commission, give you very high salary, you may also want to change. So it's difficult to say that you will just think of one thing, one direction. You just adjust it whenever chances come to you, right? When there's chance tell you that if you change to another field, it will be better, then you may consider to change. So that's why we say that it's difficult to control the trajectory of your career planning, okay? So how do we do? What can we do? We have to start with a right mindset. You have to increase your probability of success by approaching with the right mindset. So what is the right mindset? That means you must be sensitive to the changes around the economy. What are the economic targets now? How the economy being changed? So you have to have the right mindset from the beginning. And also you have to be flexible, right? Just now when I asked you, any one of you are ready to travel abroad to start your career? If you say that, sorry, my family do not allow me to go so far, my parents worry about me, and I also worry about whether I can get used to a new country, then you cannot move, right? So you have to have the right mindset from the beginning that I am really flexible. I can take up any chance that I am interested, right? Not limit to yourself, right? This is the correct mindset you have. Second is your self-reflection. So, during each step in your career, you have to ask yourself a question. What can I do next that will maximize my options in the future? What will I do next? So say for example, if you join on, one day we invited you for interview, and then you are being selected as our engineer, and you work in on for 1 year. So you try to ask yourself, what should I do more? Or what should I learn more so that it can facilitate me to move one step forward, to get promoted or to even go to other countries, to visit on factories and to start something new, right? So you have to have a self-reflection to think of. Always think of yourself, how I can improve myself better to maximize my chance in future. This is, as a student, you need to have this mindset and also have this attitude. Otherwise, you cannot get improvement, okay? And get ready. The thing is, are you ready for promotion? If you work at on for 1 year, you ask yourself, are you ready for promotion? If your boss tell you that, I want to promote you from job grade 9, because our engineer actually start from job grade 9, and then to job grade 10. Do you feel that you can receive this challenge? Do you feel confident? You will also ask your boss, what you want me to do first, right? If you ask for me to promote, then what is my new duties? Can I do it, right? So, in order to avoid these passive questions, actually when you take up your first job, within the first year, try to think of something, how you can make yourself more ready to move along your career path by thinking of what I can do next to maximize my options in future. You have to think of that, okay? So we now go to part 2. When will be the right time for do your career planning? Actually, it starts from your choice of school. So you already get started, I think, before you choose this university, you actually already think that you want to be an engineer, because this school is very famous in the south of Vietnam, being the very high-ranking school for engineering, right? So I think of that, you all already start planning your career at the time that you choose this school. No? You have a different opinion. So why you choose this school? You share with us? Good sharing.
Yes, actually, when I ready to take part in university, my parents and me don't have any idea to know about my career in the future. I just choose because my friend choose. And when I learn in 2 years, I feel stressed. I don't like my major. I have no idea about English. My friend is really good at English. I don't know the way to use dictionary. And when I have a really terrible gap years to know about myself, I have to begin again. Realize that hurt. My family and my friend don't know why I quit my major and have a gap years, and I have to learn like a kid with English from the yellow, and then I feel yes,
But now it's better.
Yeah, I feel like I suitable with my major. It's really amazing, and then I have really a lot of amazing situation to meet lots of different people, and I think I will be stronger and better in the future. Thank you.
That's good. Very good. Give her a clap of hands, okay? Okay. So, apart from you start with your choice of your school, what about the necessary skill and expertise to succeed in a wide variety of jobs? Don't think of so limited. Have to have a wider skills and expertise. So this means that you need to make smart choice about your courses, right? So I do understand that some of you choose mechanical engineering, some of you choose automotive, some of you choose automation, and some of you also choose other subjects, but even industrial management. But the thing is, you must have thought from the beginning that you want to have a better choice of option in future before you choose your faculty, right? So this is why you need to understand that you have to make a smart choice about the courses that you are going to take. And then, for me, for myself, according to my experience, when we choose people to join on, we don't just focus on your academic result. Don't think that I'm now grade point average 4. I may have even a better chance than those who only get a grade point average of 2. Don't think like that. When we do the interview, we will assess not only your academic, we will assess your mentality, your conceptual skill, your interpersonal skill, how you react to our questions, right? Can you communicate and express yourself clearly? Not just your academic. Because we are trying to look for leaders in future, we are not looking just for people to fill up our job. Do you want to be a leader? Yes. If you want to be a leader, then you have to remember what I share with you today is, you have to learn to be a leader. To be a leader, at least you don't afraid to talk with people face to face, right? When you talk with people face to face, you will not just like that. Right? You are very proud of yourself to present eyes contact, right? And then answer the questions correctly. And then don't be afraid to put forth, like she put forth her feeling, her opinion, right? Her sharing. We want to look for leaders like that, okay? And the second major priority that we are looking for is, do you have flexibility to learn? So how can we assess your learning capability? Actually, you have to understand that there's a lot of tests, psychometric tests, that can indicate your learning capability. So I will advise you to search on the line and try to do some tests for yourself to understand your ranking so that you can even better be prepared for interview and also your skill test in future. So for on-semi, I just share with you one thing. If I want to employ a manager, we must let him to do the Thomas DISC assessment. Anyone hear about the DISC assessment? Can I write down here? Thank you, Marty. D-I-S-Z assessment. Anyone heard about this assessment? This. D-I-S-C, this. Not yet? Check it later, okay? I explain to you what this means. We are checking the person's mentality and leadership. As I explained just now, we want to look for great leaders for on, right? So how can we make sure that we have great leaders? Thank you. D, stand for your character. Actually, it's a characteristic test. D stand for dominant. I stand for influential. S stand for security. C stand for compliance. So, when we select a manager, we have to understand, will he willing to cooperate and listen to other departments and cooperate? So D means if he is very high in dominant, he will not work well in a team. That means he will not be a good team player. Okay? Second, I. We need a high I people. Influence. As a manager, you have to influence your subordinates to listen to you, right? And you also need to influence other department head, other department's manager to cooperate with you. So, do you have a personal influence capability? So this test, after requesting you to answer more than 200 questions, quickly, within just 15 minutes, you will get your score. How high you are in this category. So for S stands for security. So if a person get a very high score in security, that means he is always just listen to other people's opinion because he always have a comfort zone. He feel very difficult to confront with people. Say for example, if I want to tell you that, sorry, your proposal actually is not that good. I think it's not that good for the company. He's afraid to try to push forward his opinion to others, and therefore he just want to say, good, it's good, okay, everything is okay. So, talking something like that. So, if you got a very high score for security, you overemphasize your personal relationship with your colleagues, and then you sacrifice the company interest. Am I right? Because you just want to make sure that nobody will dislike you. You have to be a good, right? Have to be a good people, a kind people, and a welcome people, and then you can't get your things done. Because what the company want a manager is save cost, raise the efficiency, right? Raise your KPI, raise your company performance. So in a way that you want to raise this up, you cannot always make them happy, right? So that's why security high mark is not good. Okay? So for C, compliance, C is very important. Why we look for high C? Hey, I have so many rules for you. I make sure that you will observe our company policy, right? I don't want to employ a manager who always late. First of all, late. You are not observing the discipline, right? Second, you yourself are setting bad examples to your subordinates. Right? We don't want to have employees like that to be the manager of our department. So when you get a very low mark in C, that means your ability to comply with our company's regulations are very low. And then it's not good for us to take you as a manager. So that's why, remember, when you undertake this test, we are looking for high I and high C, not high D and high S. Understand? Understand now? So, I encourage you, before you try to look for a first job in Vietnam, try to get a test in the website, whether you can get a test free of charge. But actually the cost to have a full comprehensive test, actually it is $300 per person. So when we ask our headquarters to provide the test to the candidates, actually you are spending $300 per test. Because Thomas, this organization, I will introduce to you so that you know better in future when you come out to work. Thomas, this is the organization that is responsible for this assessment. So because when we pay $300, they will get me a very detailed analytical report how your score means to me. Okay? Understand? So that's why If you have a chance, you can do something free of charge. You just go to the internet and try to look for this test by other organizations, just to have a testing, to see how your scores looks like, okay? It helps yourself to understand yourself better. Are you the one that always dominant in the team building exercise? Right? Are you overemphasize on security? That means you only see friendship and you cannot get your work done in future. You understand yourself better first before you start with your career. Right? If you think that, sorry, Leola, I cannot withstand harsh situation. I cannot be a high I or high C people. Then when you choose your job, you know what job you should choose, right? You cannot be choose some jobs that are so aggressive. Otherwise, you can't match with the expectation. And you feel stressed. And you don't feel happy at the end. Okay? So this is my advice to you, that you have to understand for your career planning, what are your DIS score? Okay? Anyone who don't understand about this? Any question to the psychometrical test? All got it, right? Okay. So we now come to part 3. There's other tips for your career planning. So upon graduation, you need to search for jobs that to further expand your transferable knowledge to help you to find your next job. So what do we mean by transferable knowledge? Transferable knowledge. Say, for example, if you are being a mechanical engineer, okay? So you learn how to design a product that leads to mechanical design. But if you can grab this technique already, can it be transferred to other companies? Not just on semiconductor, not just conductor field, not just high-tech industry. You have to think of that, because the more you think of this one, you think that you have a lot of choice of a job that you can choose. That's the meaning of transferable knowledge. Because say, for example, for Leola, I share with you, when I get my first job as an HR officer in a local company in Hong Kong, they sent me to China and asked me to work there in the factory for the HR, like recruitment, termination, training. So when I learned about this, about the China labor law, different from, similar to Vietnam labor code as well. So when I learned the China labor law, I think of myself, what will be our next job that I can make use of my China labor law knowledge, right? I learned it 1 year. How can I transfer it? So later, I already get another job that is even a bigger company. It's a local listed company who needs someone to build is a power supply station in an overseas company. So they recruit me because they think that I can work effectively in other country. So part of my knowledge in working in another country will help me to have a transfer knowledge. That is why I say you have to have something, think of what will be your transfer knowledge. Okay? Another example is very extreme. I asked my son, hey, what do you want to be? Because he is much younger than you are. He's still in a secondary school only. I asked my son, hey, what you want to become in future? He said, he wants to study pharmacy. Pharmacy. Sounds very great, right? Mom, I want to be a pharmacist. Then I asked him, hey, how many hospitals we have in Hong Kong? So what about government? If you want to work in government clinics as a pharmacist, how many clinics in Hong Kong? Just a small place, right? Just a city. How many job opportunities you have? And then he tried to do a research and then get back to me saying that, oh, Mom, it's difficult. It's difficult in the sense that it's grade very high. However, the job opportunities is not that, yes. And very important is, one day, if there is economic crisis, like what the Japanese tsunami that happened 2 years ago, do you are you able to find a job after graduation? Because government don't have money to expand hospital. We will not have new hospital. How can they employ farmers? So I tell my son, please do some research first before you decide which profession you want to pursue. So town planner, I can tell you an example. In Hong Kong, town planner is very high pay, $7,000 per month. Who want to get this amount? You, good. However, town planner only employed by government because we need to do the town planning, okay? And then also by other construction company that when they want to build new building, new residential area, they need to have a town planner. It's very high pay, but have to be very careful. It's very limited in your job scope. You cannot transfer your knowledge from this field to another field easily. So when one day you don't have the job for town planner, do you think that you can find another job easily? Not sure, right? So this is another example I tell you that, well, it is the world expert in this field. You get a very high pay, $7,000 per month. But one day if you lose your job, then what you are going to do with having a town planner, certified town planner, what are you going to having with your job do? Don't tell me that, no problem, I start from the beginning. But if you're already 30 years old at that time, can you still start from the beginning to jump into another industry? To learn from the beginning? To start? I don't think so, because you get married already. And maybe you have kids, right? You have family burden. You don't want to start from the beginning. Oh, you think so? You can start from the beginning?
Because when he struck his friend came out of his company, he still had to know the way to begin again. And when his when something happened to his health, like the doctor really worried that there is something not
Oh, you are telling about the story of his video. Let them enjoy the video, right? You are right, but not everyone is Steve Jobs. So I just tell you in general, be serious about your career planning. Don't just think of something great. And I always hear that everyone tell me that I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. But first think of, are you really interested in this job first, right? If you're really interested, no problem. You just go ahead. But if you just because of this is something great, this is something that kept me to earn a lot, then you have to be very careful. Because you have to study your overall economy first, right? Otherwise, once you choose the wrong path, it's very difficult for you to start from the beginning again. Okay? So, I will rather suggest you is try to take a job that will expand your computer programming, because nowadays everything have to be using the computer. If you start with something that related to the computer programming skill, it will also boost your options for the later step in your next career move. So, did you consider about your competitive advantage when you choose a job? What will be your competitive advantage? So I think of, because you graduate in this famous school, you already have some competitive advantage, right? As compared with other students in other university. So your competitive advantage is being a graduate here. This is the first one. Then what about the organization that you are trying to apply? How they think about your competitive advantage? I can tell you that if you only have the civil service experience, that means you only work for government before, and then you come out and try to look for a job, and then the private company will think of, can you adjust to our high pressure environment because you are so relaxed in the government agency, right? A government job. So when you try to be a civil servant, then you have to think of, in future, where can you move? Can you still move back to the government, or can you still move to the commercial field? This is something that you have to think out very carefully before you join the government. Okay? This is something that you have to understand. And so for the publicly listed company, like Honor, we are also publicly listed in NASDAQ. And then for us, when we choose a candidate, we think of something is, if you work just for a local company, then are you going to adapt easily to our system? Because at On, we have a lot of system that you need to use. Say, for example, if you want to enroll for a training, you cannot make a call to the HR department that you want to join the training. You have to apply online in our LMS system. And also, if you want to get a PA rating, the performance appraisal for yourself, then you have to know how to use of our Oracle system, that you enter into it and do your own assessment and then forward to your boss so that he can complete your personal assessment for the whole year. So everything, when you join On, everything has to be in system. So we will try to evaluate you whether you can really get used to so many systems. This is what we think of, okay? So think of yourself is how you can prove to me when one day you try to attain a very important interview. Then you have to convince the interviewer what is your competitive advantage. So I'll now try to ask every one of you to tell me what do you think will be your competitive advantage, okay? So can you tell me if you now want to get a job and now you're going to attend an interview, I'm the interviewer. Can you tell me why you can convince me to employ you?
I think because let me introduce myself. I study in government technology, so I think I have capable to. I have experience in government. Yeah, I learned about government technology, so I think I have capable to do that job. Maybe because I'm confidence.
Listen, my question is competitive advantage. What is your competitive advantage as compared with other candidates in the market? Get me? Get the essential point. When you attend the interview, you have to first evaluate your competitive advantage with other candidates in the market. Not just tell that you are experienced. Then he will say, there's a lot of people with even more experience than you. Now think of this one. Any other have a better answer for me? Competitive advantage. For this group, who can answer me? What is your competitive advantage if you look for a job?
I think my competitive advantage is I work for several companies before, and especially last semester I worked for a company in my major, mechanical engineering. So I think I have experience dealing with machine, how to fix it, and the way that the people in the company create the product. And I think one more important thing that I can speak English and understand native speaker in their organization.
Good, very good answer. I give him a clapping hands, okay? He can describe his competitive advantage, okay? So for this group, can anyone, I want someone to share with me. What is your competitive advantage? Now I'm an interviewer. You want to join my company as a manager, as a leader. So what is your competitive advantage?
I think my experience is not so much, but I can improve myself day by day. And if I don't know about a problem, I ask my coach and I learn it. Yes.
So that's why you want to tell me that you are more willing to learn than other people in the market, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good sharing. Good. Okay. So what about this group? Can anyone want to demonstrate that? What will be your competitive advantage? You haven't graduated from a famous school here. And then apart from that, no more? Just a famous school at your back? No more? But there are so many students graduate in the same school, right? You cannot just tell the interviewer that I graduate with this school. Agree? So what is your competitive advantage? You seem to have a very good answer. Can you share?
I think I have more experience from internship program during I started the first year.
What internship program you come across with? Which company?
This is Toyota program is in my hometown.
Very good. Now that's the correct answer, okay? Because you tell the interviewer that you actually have some very good internship program, also with famous company, right? Toyota, so many people learn about that. Okay, very good sharing. Thank you. Give him a clapping hands. Okay, thank you so much. So for this group, hey, you three are classmates. Okay, can you share with me what do you think will be your competitive advantage? You have to answer this question in future when you attend an interview. Certainly people will ask you. Can anyone? Very good. Lady first. Okay.
I believe when I heard it helped me pass the many different. Yeah. When I failed the first examination in university. Yeah, and because I'm young, focused on learn, and the second I passed the examination and become the student of this university.
Not easy at all, I know.
And I think if I have the difficult problem. And I take many time, and I really hard to solve this problem.
Very good. So I tell you one clue, okay? Good sharing. I want to tell you one clue is, even your answer may not be perfect, but as the interviewer, like me, HR manager, I will buy her. Why? Because she's willing to convince me that she's want to get this job and try to convince me that she fit for this job. That is the attitude that we also want to, right? That means he is very sincere, she's very sincere, and she really want to get a job. So the more you tell about yourself, not just 1 or 2 sentences, actually it's not enough. You have to elaborate even more, okay? To tell the interviewer that you really think that you feel confident to get the job and then you can do well, okay? Self-confidence is another competitive advantage. So my clue to you is, first of all, you should be proud of the faculty that you study. Second, you have to be very self-confident that you are being able to do better than the other candidates in the market. You have to have the self-confidence, okay? So how you can build up your self-confidence, it depends on how you read more books and learn more about the knowledge and to show someone that they don't know but you know. So the self-confidence is another issue that makes you competitive advantage. But I think one thing that you all have here, but you never mention. No one of you think about this one. The ability to speak English. This is very important. To join a multinational company like On, if you tell me that, sorry, Leola, I cannot talk in English with you, how can we employ you? Because everything right in English, instruction manual, as standard operation procedures, everything is in English. If you tell me that, sorry, I cannot speak in English, then how can we expect you to communicate with the rest of the department and even the rest of the company, right? So actually your competitive advantage is the ability to speak English fluently. So before you go out to look for a job, my second advice to you is, can you brush up your verbal skill in speaking English? It's very important. Agree? Right? So, yes, you want to share?
I have an answer. And question. This is about the ability of speaking English. Even not good at English, but I'm very master, very influence as my mentor. So, can I take part in this job? For example, when I do this job very good, very perfect, but I'm not good at English.
I answer your question as a HR manager, head of HR in On, okay, in Vietnam. So when I tell my colleagues, they pick up people, English speaking is important, but we want them to have at least simple communication skill. Say for example, if you tell me that, sorry, I cannot communicate with my boss. That's a major issue because the boss, our boss, we have so many expatriates working in Vietnam On. We are not only having local managers. I can tell you we got, including myself, at On, we got 25 expatriates from Malaysia, Japan, Philippines. So if you tell me that if your boss, the one that we now want to hire you this position, your boss is a Malaysian, can you expect him to talk with you in Vietnamese? Cannot. So if you ask me this question, it's simple as that. Can you communicate in simple English with your boss? Can you? You have to think of that. So during the interview, apart from HR, the user department head, that is the one who want to hire you, the Malaysian guy will do the interview with you. From the interview, he can already understand that how or not he can communicate with you directly, right? At least you understand what he's talking about. And then you can reply in simple English sentence. That will be okay. Did I answer your question? Okay? So don't over worry about this point. The more important is, do you show your self-confidence? Just now I say, first of all, you have to be proud of your graduate here. Second, do you have the self-confidence to tell the interviewer that you can do a good job? The third one is, can you communicate confidently in English speaking? Because you are looking for a leader in a multinational organization. Am I right? Right? So this is the thing that you have to think about your competitive advantage. Okay? So, what is the next? We have to understand. So, another one is very important. You have to grow your network. What do we mean by networking? Here, we already tell you that actually organizations do not hire people. It's people who hire people. So say for example, if I know all of you better, and you also know me, then in case in future we think of, we want to have a material engineer, then I will immediately remember that, oh, I learned a lady who are studying in this faculty, so that I can contact with her, right? So you remember, you grow up your network. Try to know people in different industry as much as possible, so that you can, have more relationship, grow up your connection, so that you can get a better job. This is very important. So as a HR, how can I grow my network? I just saw my example as a HR, okay? You can think of yourself in future. For me, I'm a professional member in the Hong Kong Institute of Human Resources Management. In that society, I can have a lot of chance to meet with other HR managers or even senior executives who are working in HR field. So by learning about their names and we share, we talk, I can gradually expand my network, so I can learn and know a lot of people, so that I can gain help from them if I need their advice. So this is a good example to show you how you grow your network. Another thing is, do anyone already have your name in the LinkedIn? LinkedIn. Do anyone? Put your name in LinkedIn. 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 Can you raise your hand? I want to understand. Oh, you already got it. Anyone? LinkedIn? LinkedIn. So if you put your name and one of your introduction there, you will find that if you join in that LinkedIn, you will know a lot of other people that having your same faculty or even having the same profession with you in future. You gradually connected with them, and then you can invite other people to join your group, your networking. So in that case, you expand your networking very fast, right? So you have the experience. Can you share with other class, other schoolmates, so that they can use LinkedIn? Okay, can you share?
I use LinkedIn about 1 year. Yeah, I post my CV and my experience in LinkedIn, and a lot of people who have the same major with me, and connect to me, and you can have the opportunity to have a job from these people. As well, if you use LinkedIn, you should always get your information on it. And until now I have not had any opportunity yet, but I hope that in the future, when I graduate, I will have some opportunity from people on LinkedIn. Yeah.
So what subject you study?
My major is automation.
Automation.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. So you see, LinkedIn is really useful for you to grow up your network and try to help you to look for jobs. So how many of you already graduated? Can you raise up your hands? All are not yet graduated. So it will be your 4th year, final year already? Final year, right? So, yeah, that is my advice to you, that you have to join the LinkedIn so that you try to grow your network and try to look for someone to same profession with you, so that whether you can get a chance being invited by them to have an interview. So, Martin, can you share with them that how we take people from the LinkedIn? We also rely on LinkedIn to look for a lot of people, right? Please share how we do the recruitment.
Các bạn nào chưa có LinkedIn á, thì mình về mình tạo một cái tài khoản trên LinkedIn này. Thì đây là một cái trang cộng đồng giống như là cái Facebook vậy đó, nhưng mà nó chỉ về việc làm thôi. Một số các anh chị làm recruiter như anh nè sẽ post những cái công việc cần tuyển lên trên đây, và các bạn có thể apply trực tiếp vô đó rất là dễ dàng. Nó như là cái Facebook mình đó, Facebook mình phổ biến đúng không? Thì cái này các bạn tập làm quen đi, anh thấy nó khá là hay, y như Facebook. Và cái này mình có thể giống như cái Facebook của mình post hình lên, thì đây mình post cái CV của mình lên, những cái kỹ năng của mình lên, thì các bạn có thể sử dụng cái đó. Thì cái LinkedIn này nó kết nối khá là hay, nó như trang cộng đồng Facebook vậy đó. Chưa biết thì mình có thể tham khảo rồi mình.
Thank you, Martin. Actually, Martin is working under our talent acquisition team. He's my colleague in OnSemi. And this is the one way that you expand your network. Why I give you this form to fill? I want to know about your personal information, so that in future, when you have any position that we think is related to your faculty, I will immediately invite you for interview. And just happy to announce to you that actually we are now looking for 10 university graduates. Martin, we are looking for 10, right? Yes. We are now already have a vacancy of 10 fresh grad as a trainee in our OPP division. So, if you are interested, you must fill out the form and let Martin keep your record, okay? So that we will try to contact you. So this is also another way for your network. So, I know youngsters always want to jump to another job quickly. So our turnover rate at On is also high for the youngster. I can see that when they join us for 2 years, they already try to look for a higher paid job and then quit. It's nothing wrong. But one thing you have to think about is, in this tough economy and also ever-changing world, it is very important that you have to smartly evaluate each step in your career. Whenever you want to move, you have to think out what is the risk. Say, for example, someone tell me that, at On Semiconductor, I understand that I have a lot of opportunities to travel abroad to other companies to learn. However, I think that the salary that I get now, I'm not satisfied. Okay, so when you try to jump, you have to balance in a way, think of what you gain, what you lose, and as a total asset, you gain or you lose, right? Because not all companies' benefits are the same. For example, at On, we can encourage you to have chance to go abroad. We pay for your trip expenses, we pay for your air ticket, we pay for your accommodation charges. But when you and then you quit, and then you join another company, do you still have a lot of opportunities to go abroad? Even your salary is higher, right? So that's what I want to remind all of you is, before you jump, you think of the overall benefit, not just monetary benefit. What about your job, your promotion opportunities? You have to think in a win-win situation, not just one-sided. That is what I want to remind you, okay? And the second thing is, you have to prepare for whatever surprise lie ahead. Say, for example, First Solar. I share you a real story. Do anyone heard about First Solar company in US? First Solar. Raise up your hand if you have heard of this company. First Solar. Years ago, they come here in Vietnam, buy a land, and want to start with a factory. So they employ a lot of people from Intel to start with their great project plan. Suddenly, they think that the economy is turning worse in Vietnam. They stop their plan, and those who jump from Intel to there lose their job immediately. And now they come again this year, and trying to reopen up the factory based on the original land that they built, and try to be active in the recruitment market again. So that's why I want to show you an example is, those who are being sacked off, being terminated by First Solar actually join on. And they share with me that they feel a little bit regret for leaving Intel. Did anyone tell me that you don't know which company means is Intel? Heard about it, alright? So you can understand it's a very critical example, typical, that I want to share with you, that when you want to jump to another company, you have to think it carefully. The stability. Are they stable? Are you going to stay there for a long time that you expect? If everything have a question in your mind, you have to think it again. Are you going to jump from Intel to First Solar just because of 40% increase of salary? I can tell you that First Solar is very active now. They try to take away our people from on-semi. What they offer is 40% increase of salary. 40%, not 14. 40% increase in your base salary. Very attractive, right? Sexy figures. However, if one day, again, repeating 2 years experience, if they really withdraw the expansion plan in Vietnam, then once again, you will lose your job. Okay, so I'm not badmouth this company. I'm just sharing with you that even at On, we have colleagues that losing job from First Solar and join On. That's why I know the story. Okay? So I would advise you to make choices today that will help you to maximize your options in the future. This is the correct thinking. And also have to gain some transferable expertise. No matter at work or in your classroom, gain as much as possible some transfer expertise that can equip you better, right? And also you can have some close union with your peers and your colleagues. Try to expand your circle of influence. I mean networking. Your circle of influence means the networking that you got. Okay? So, the key takeaway for today is First of all, you have to learn about yourself, right? And then you have to think what are your competitive advantage. That is your skill set. And then you can think of what options are open up to you based on your skill set and your competitive advantage. And then you think of what will be your major career in future. And then when you think of that, have a good linking, then you will understand about your values. That is what you are value for. Right? From the beginning of my sharing, I tell you that something is not only related to the money. It's something you want to look for a company that have the same value that you are holding. Are we listening to the employees? Do we adopt employees' opinion actively? I can tell you at ON, every 2 years, we do the survey. It's employee satisfaction survey. For this survey, we want to understand what is the employees thinking about ON. Do they like to work in ON? What are the major dissatisfactions? So that based on the survey result, we improve year by year how we can retain our critical talent. So if you are thinking of working for a company like ON, then you will think that in future you will be interested to apply for ON job. I'm just saying for an example how you think about your career planning that meets with your own value. What is your value? What you are value for? Okay? So that's the takeaway things that I want you to understand and hope you will remember in your way when you try to plan for your career. Okay? So up to now, is there anything that you don't understand? And let me need my explanation. Anything that you don't understand? Okay, if nothing, then we go for the video. The video that we talk about the Steve Jobs speech to the Harvard University graduates, okay? Let's share the video together. You must be very attentive to the video because after that we will have a group discussion and you have to answer my question in order to get the award, okay?
Thank you. I'm honored to be with you today for your commencement from one of the finest universities in the world. Truth be told, I never graduated from college, and this is the closest I've ever gotten to a college graduation. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. No big deal. Just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months or so before I really quit. So why'd I drop out? It started before I was born. My biological mother was a young, unwed graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. She felt very strongly that I should be adopted by college graduates, so everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. Except that when I popped out, they decided at the last minute that they really wanted a girl. So my parents, who were on a waiting list, got a call in the middle of the night asking, "We've got an unexpected baby boy. Do you want him?" They said, "Of course." My biological mother found out later that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would go to college. This was the start in my life. And 17 years later, I did go to college. But I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was, spending all the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference. My second story is about love and loss. I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in life. Woz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. We just released our finest creation, the Macintosh, a year earlier, and I just turned 30. And then I got fired. How can you get fired from a company you started? Well, as Apple grew, we hired someone who I thought was very talented to run the company with me. And for the first year or so, things went well. But then our visions of the future began to diverge, and eventually we had a falling out. When we did, our board of directors sided with him. And so at 30, I was out, and very publicly out. What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. I really didn't know what to do for a few months. I felt that I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down, that I had dropped the baton as it was being passed to me. I met with David Packard and Bob Noyce and tried to apologize for screwing up so badly. I was a very public failure, and I even thought about running away from the valley. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. The turn of events at Apple had not changed that one bit. I'd been rejected, but I was still in love. And so I decided to start over. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods in my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first computer-animated feature film, Toy Story, and is now the most successful animation studio in the world. In a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next, and I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Maureen and I have a wonderful family together. I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened if I hadn't been fired from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love. And that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking. Don't settle. My third story is about death. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, "If you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right." It made an impression on me, and since then, for the past 33 years, I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a scan at 7:30 in the morning, and it clearly showed a tumor on my pancreas. I didn't even know what a pancreas was. The doctors told me this was almost certainly a type of cancer that is incurable, and that I should expect to live no longer than 3 to 6 months. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order, which is doctor's code for prepare to die. It means to try and tell your kids everything you thought you'd have the next 10 years to tell them in just a few months. It means to make sure everything is buttoned up so that it will be as easy as possible for your family. It means to say your goodbyes. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, I had a biopsy where they stuck an endoscope down my throat, through my stomach and into my intestines, put a needle into my pancreas and got a few cells from the tumor. I was sedated, but my wife, who was there, told me that when they viewed the cells under a microscope, the doctor started crying because it turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. I had the surgery, and thankfully, I'm fine now. This was the closest I've been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you with a bit more certainty than when death was a useful but purely intellectual concept. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Right now, the new is you. But someday, not too long from now, you will gradually become the old and be cleared away. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it's quite true. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog, which was one of the Bibles of my generation. It was created by a fellow named Stuart Brand, not far from here in Menlo Park, and he brought it to life with his poetic touch. This was in the late 60s, before personal computers and desktop publishing, so it was all made with typewriters, scissors, and Polaroid cameras. It was sort of like Google in paperback form 35 years before Google came along. It was idealistic, overflowing with neat tools and great notions. Stuart and his team put out several issues of the Whole Earth Catalog, and then, when it had run its course, they put out a final issue. It was the mid-1970s, and I was your age. On the back cover of their final issue was a photograph of an early morning country road, the kind you might find yourself hitchhiking on if you were so adventurous. Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It was their farewell message as they signed off. Stay hungry, stay foolish. And I've always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Thank you all very much.
So now we can do a discussion now. So my first question is, you have to start the discussion among your group. Okay, so this is group 1, group 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? So my first question is, why Steve Jobs is successful even after he is fired by Apple? Okay, I repeat my question. Why Steve Jobs is successful even after fired by Apple? So I give you just 10 minutes to discuss, and then choose one of your colleagues to represent your group and to tell me why. Okay? Now, the group who do the best discussion and with a very comprehensive perspective will get an award for inviting to us, and then have my personal coaching related to your career path. Okay? That's my award to the group. Okay? Not just one person, to the group. The whole group. Okay, work in a team. Be a good team player. Okay? Where's your other colleague? Ah, you can lead the discussion because you are familiar with the story. Okay? Don't just give me one sentence. The rule is throw out all the things you see from the video that you agree. Not just one sentence. Give me.
Yes. Yeah, but I can speak. Yeah.
I think when you can do it.
Sorry. Believe and very important for a person who want to create a big company. When we want to create a thing we will have to do, we can think a lot of things about that. And of course we will have the failures. But we have to think about we never lose and never give up. Like Steve Jobs have said, stay foolish, stay hungry, stay foolish. If we don't do, we can have a result. So I think we have to do first. After something we have done is the job result in the future. The second, I think, is the lesson. The lesson is very important for a person who want to create a new technology like Steve Jobs have able. And the good version, he have a good version in the future because he see the world in the 10 years next. I think Steve Jobs have a good planning because he have planned himself when he studied in the Harvard University. He have learned knowledge that he want to learn. He think that knowledge is very important for him in the future, and he understand what he learned and support him in the future. And he have created the words like yes.
Steve Jobs thing, everybody have to that, so nothing to lose anymore. So he have to do as well as he want. That's all about my idea groups.
This write points you can share. You can write
3
here.
points.
Okay. Yeah, 3. So you write here. Cannot be erased. So while he's writing that, the second group can be there. Okay? So the second group, who is the right now? You have 3 points and you write 3 points. Okay? So for this group, who will be the presenter? Okay. So where's the microphone? Okay. You can use it.
So hello everybody. So this is my opinion of our group. The main point is he is pursuing his passion, and it is designing. And when he got fired from Apple, then he said that he faced on the fact that he has nothing to lose, and he doesn't fear of losing something, and he got to start again. And that led to the persistence when he faced to the failure, and he doesn't quit. He keep doing on it and do the new product. And he fell in love with Lawrence, who is a fantastic girl that keep him moving forward. Even
not show in the video. This
our group. And he's kind of brave. He got the courage to leave the school. And that is the important thing, that not everyone can do it. It's the hard situation that everybody has to face on.
Yes.
And
then he quit. He don't like.
And one example for the brave, that he made the first product on his garage, and that means that he doesn't only study about something, but he need to practice it. And what else?
You have 6 or 7 points.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, keep the so group 2 has 6 to 7. Can you please write down? Count how many points. Please write down. Okay, summarize. Okay, for this group, who will be the presenter? Wow, you have a lot of paper. So who will be the presenter? Okay. You have to introduce your name first, okay?
Okay. Hello everyone. Yes. Okay, my name is Hảo. I'm from English major at our university. And after we watched the really amazing and meaningful video from Steve Jobs, and with the question why Steve Jobs is successful even after he is fired by Apple, and with the information from our group, Still guy give me some information about the teacher, and now I will try to answer your questions. Okay, from the video, when Steve Jobs when Steve Jobs is fired by Apple, and I remember that he said that I have no idea to do. It meant that when he failed, he really disappointed. He really sad in maybe 3 months, and then because I remember his sentence. He said that I still love what I did. Yes, I still love what I did. So it means that although his company, his friend, anything is wrong this day, but he said that I still love what I did. It means that he wanted to do it again. He know that he really want to devote himself to his passion. So that's the reason why after that he from two company B Cell and Nest, and then with a hard work, keep looking down settle from the video. He said keep looking down settle so two company. And with the successful of this film, toy of story of B Cell, and the Apple company will then see that he have talent, and the Apple sell to company to B Cell and Nest again, and then he come to the Apple again. And maybe after a lot of things happen to him, he learned from his mistake, and he know what he do. He improve himself, and then he becomes stronger and stronger. Maybe his mindset is different from normal people. He don't give up. He still try again to prove that, hey Apple, I can do it. I can be successful. Please accept me again. And now he's right, like you say it. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Right? She can tell you the full story, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So this one really tell what we just echo when I tell you that you cannot control your career planning. You have no trajectory that you can trace. Whenever you plan, right, you just incrementally to react what changes is, and then you adjust your plan. But you cannot, like him, plan from the beginning that I have to be successful. Even he has to be very successful, but he's still being, kicked off of the company and need to start all over again. So that's why I tell you that when you plan for your career, don't just think of one trajectory. A lot. Right? A lot. You cannot just control it. You accept the changes, and then based on the changes, you react and adjust your career planning. We do only like that, okay? So, thank you. For about this group, who can do me the presentation? You? Okay? Okay?
nói ý họ nói ý họ.
Okay, so for this group, what's your sharing? You think why he is?
The first Apple is developed by Steve Jobs. He focused to raise the capital by Apple, but after he fired Apple, he never gave up, and he found Peer. Yeah, and
He's successful because he never gave up, right?
yeah.
The first one, he never gave up. The second one?
And the second boy, I consider he want to return this Apple. Yeah.
You want to return to Apple? So you think of return to Apple on the day that he fall down, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then another thought?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for your sharing, okay? So what about the other group? So who is going to present? Thank you.
Hello everybody.
You introduce your name first. When you do the presentation.
Okay. My name is Rick. My major is automotive engineering. Okay. Why Steve Jobs is successful even after he fired by Apple? I think the first thing different. That is slogan of Apple. Apple, yes, Apple. Okay, thank you. I think he have to under pressure when he fired, and he have found the goal of his flight is computer fields, and he is success when he have his own company Visual, yes. He amazing man, and after that he have to think big to create or to invent it for fly people, and he had successful in computer fields. In 2002, he went back Apple. That is yeah. Steve Jobs made me ill. Steve Jobs inspired me, and I really. That's all. I got it. He says, "Stay hungry, stay foolish."
Yes, that's right. Every one of us have to stay hungry and stay foolish. Just
Foolish.
learn.
Yes,
Learn as much as we can. Don't give up. Very good. Thank you for your
Thank you.
on the whiteboard.
Really?
Okay, for this group, who can be the presenter?
Hello everyone. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Tin. I'm from Faculty of Electronic and Electrical Engineering. And after discussion, we have 6 reasons why Steve Jobs is successful even after he is fired by Apple. And which the 6th reason we also connected is to ourselves. And we show a way for us to be successful like Steve Jobs. So the first reason is about love and passion. So he said that I'll be rejected, but I still love. So he knows what his love and his passion in life. And it leads to the second reason about the way he sees the failure. So he never give up. He has a self-reflection. He knows what he needs to do to change things. And when he creates his new company, he also has a reason to take the chance and time. He's not randomly creating this company. I think that he's been research about the market to create this company, and it's become very successful company until now. And to lead his company to very successful, he also be a very great manager and leader. He has very talent and creative person, and he confident that his new company will be successful in the future. And last but not least, and it's very important too, is he has support from his family and friends. So he support from his wife and friend who start a new company with him. And it also like us, we cannot go to the successful alone. We always need a family and friend beside us to share with us. Yeah, thank you. Is the artist. Yeah.
So what is your ideas and presentation? Can you share?
Me? Yes.
Because of another group, because of the other group said a lot about some reason, I don't read it again. I just make additions and other ideas. I think it's maybe the most important thing that is he had experience because he's a follower of Apple. So a lot of people, maybe his friend, maybe some people have a lot of money. They believe in his energy, his abilities, and they that's mean he has experience to make a company. He's a greatest businessman in the world, and he cannot be failed again. Yeah, he knows what is problem and can solve it. Yeah. And another thing, in my opinions, I just think about his wife because he's make another company name is Pixar, Pixar. It's about film, audio studio. I think another maybe because of his wife, he's make this company. Yeah. Other point, every group is make it.
Okay, thank you. Right there, okay? So, I want to draw a conclusion is some of the important points you have missed out is when he quits his college and tried to study something he liked, he actually is not planned to do this because 10 years later, when he successfully created the first Macintosh, he already said that it's so successful because of his previous learning for the calligraphy, right? Calligraph. So for at that time, he want to learn the calligraph. He never think of what is the usefulness of learning this, but he loved it. So the success of Steve Jobs is because of he followed his heart. He just do something that he really loved to, so that he can have achievement. So I think this one is very useful for you when you are in future in your career path. Don't just think of whether it will be useful or not, but do you love it? Do you like it? Right? As the question that I tell you, if a company who offer you 40% salary increment, then you jump, but that company, that job, is it what you want to do? Right? So this is something that you have to follow him. He say that he just do something that he like to. And the second point, every group didn't mention about is, he say, don't fall into someone's lives. You are not living because of someone else. You live because of yourself. So that's why he always have something different from others in his thinking. That's why make him very creative and very successful. So I think this one is also very important for us to learn and to rethink ourselves. It's like you just follow others. When someone tell you that it is a great chance if you become a doctor, then you just want to become a doctor, right? No, because you have your own thinking, what you want to do first, what you like, what is your interest, right? And also what is your competitive advantage when you choose a job. So therefore, I think he's successful is because he really don't follow anyone. He just want to do it in his own way. And he insists, even he being kicked out by Apple, he still insists in his own way to redevelop another new product for Apple. That is the iPhone, right? So this is why he is so successful. And the last one, he always asks you, because you're also going to graduate, is stay foolish and stay hungry. This is very useful for all of you to think about it, okay? So that's the end of our sharing today, and thank you for so active participation in your group. And if talking about how many points you can bring out, I think 2 groups is doing very well. This group, they already have 5 to 6 points also. For this group, you can make the whole story back after seeing the video. So I would think that these 2 groups will have the prize for today. And I'm going to invite you, Martin, you can take off their address, email address, so that I will invite them when they get graduated, and then I will invite them to have a personal meeting with me so that I can guide for their coaching and bring them to have a tour around our own factory. Okay? And also go to our canteen to enjoy our special meal. Okay? Okay, so thank you so much. And then I look forward I can have another chance to share other topics with you in the coming future. Thank you so much, okay? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.